Hello and welcome back to Surrey Build Weekly, episode 28. This week sees us take you around 2 extension projects and explain why foundations are an integral part of any project. Here we are at Ashidan. We're going to take a look around the project to see how it's progressed and explain a little bit about the foundations. So we're in week 3 of the project here at Ashidan. As you can see, we've completely poured the foundations. We've built the walls up to damp course. The bricklayers are continuing with the brick walls higher than damp course. We've also managed to MOT, hardcore, sand, mesh and concrete the slab internally, ready in preparation for next week, when the walls behind me will be removed now that the acro props are in place, ready to receive the steel beams. Now let's talk a little bit about foundations. As with any foundations of an extension, there are key things to point out first before we do any digging. That is the locations of any trees and the soil type of the project. Here at Ashidan, the soil type was clay, and we are very fortunate that there are no trees within 8 meters of the extension. Therefore, the depth of these footings were 1 meter, and they were passed by the building control surveyor before we poured the concrete. Prior to ordering any concrete, we must check the foundation calculations and make sure that we are ordering the correct strength. This particular project was a C30. Most projects that we do within the foundations are a C30, but there are different strengths depending on the building size and also the soil type. So with this particular project and any of our ongoing extensions, we always use a pump system to install the concrete. This saves on the manual handling of the concrete via wheelbarrows. The pump is set out on the road and the concrete truck reverses up to the pump, and then the concrete is pumped through the tubes into the new foundations. The cost of concrete is around about £150 per cubic metre, and the cost of the pump is anywhere between £300 to £400 or £500 depending on the length of the pipe needed. During the process of the pumping of the concrete, the guys will be going around the foundation, making sure that it's completely level and tampering the top of the concrete so that it's ready for the brickwork. So now that we've discussed everything needed on this particular project before the foundations were poured, let's head over to our Godalming project, where the next steps are in progress after the concrete pour. So I'm currently stood in our extension at the Godalming project. Now this actually commenced around about 8 weeks ago, where we started removing the soil ready for the foundations. This particular job is set in a sandy location, and therefore once we had dug a trial pit, we was able to get building control out to confirm that the depth of the said foundation was correct and in line with what they would see acceptable. Once we conducted that, we then was able to pour the foundations with a C30 mix with a boom pump on this one, not a line pump, so we actually boomed over the fence and into the location, and then we were able to start the walls. Once we had the cavity walls in situ, we was able to pour the oversight. So that was a reinforced concrete slab on top of 150 mil of compacted hardcore. On top of that reinforced slab is then insulation, and this particular project opted for an underfloor heating product, which is a wet product. We would always advise our clients when installing underfloor heating in vast open spaces like this that they opt for a water system, because it's much more efficient. It's also going to heat the room as opposed to just heating the floor like an electric mat. The underfloor heating itself is a more rounded heat rather than a positional heat like a radiator, and therefore gives the overall feel of the extension much more warmth during the winter months. So once the floor had been laid with the underfloor heating, we were then able to screed the top ready for the client's finished floor. We've also been busy constructing the roof out of C24 timbers, and as you can see, we have quite a lot of steel within this project. Now, as this is a foundation episode, we also have to make considerations for the additional weight on the foundations in preparation for new steel beams. So we actually underpinned the existing foundations ready to take the point loads of those steel beams in preparation for them to be installed. So now this brings us to the end of this episode. I hope that you have enjoyed finding more information out about the foundations and the processes involved with any extension. If you have liked this episode, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next week.